Hi, it's Adam again, and this is my 4x8 slate pool table that I made and installed in my 20-foot by 20-foot garage. But this is no ordinary pool table. It folds up against the wall so that my wife and I can still park our vehicles in here. So this is my garage pool table. This is an old time-lapse video that I made of me putting the pool table away against the wall. First, the pool table slides on the rails along the floor. Once it's pushed into its frame, I use my crane in my garage to lift up the side of the pool table, and it pivots on the frame up against the wall. Then the legs fold down and store neatly inside the frame of the pool table, and the rails come up off the floor to hold the pool table in place against the wall. The pool table mostly stays stored against the wall, but when needed, I move the doors out of the way, the sliding doors that slide on rails below the shelf above it. And first thing I do is I move the lifting lug, as shown here, so that it's able to be reached by the hook of my crane. Then I bring my crane over, hook it onto that lifting lug, and take the weight of the pool table and start to slowly move it away from the wall. Now that the pool table is held with the crane, I can release the rails that fold down onto the floor. I then install rail extensions on both rails so that the pool table can roll into the middle of the garage. Before I use the crane to move the pool table, I fold down the legs that are located on the underside of the pool table itself. The bottom legs and the top legs are supported by angle braces that pivot out on the opposing shaft that the legs are mounted to. As you can see, the legs of the pool table are not situated in the corners like traditionally. Instead, they're offset a bit. This is to match the offset angular rails on the floor to help bring the pool table into the middle of the garage. Now with the wheels down and legs locked in place, I then use the crane to take the weight to the pool table, and I help it get over center, as you can see. And from there, the crane slowly lowers the pool table to the ground as it pivots on its base that it rests on. Now you can see in the top of the video there is my garage crane, which will be covered in a different video. But I'm controlling it using the pendant that's hanging from the crane itself. And I slowly allow the pool table to come down under control. And once the wheels fall onto the tracks, they fit very nicely. It took a long time to get that set up just right so that the wheels come down in the right spot. After disconnecting the crane, moving it out of the way, I then move the lifting lug into a different position so that's out of the way and you're not going to hit your shins on it. Then the wood slate clamp that I have shown here is raised off of the table after the clamps are released. The clamps themselves fall away due to gravity and rest underneath the table, and the wooden slate clamp is lifted up and stores up against the wall nicely. The slate clamp holds the 3 slate pieces in place so that when it's being moved and put into and out of the storage position, the slate stays stationary. With the slate clamp moved out of the way, I grab the lifting lug and just pull the pool table out into the middle of the garage. There are rail stops on the floor rails that position the pool table in the same spot every time. It's important for keeping the pool table level. The rails come off the floor and fold up against the wall. I started with a used pool table, and it's not without its nicks and gouges and blemishes. I use the pockets, the rails, the slate, but that's about it. The rest of it I've made and designed myself. I even refelted the whole thing. Each wheel has a threaded stem on it to adjust the height. One challenge I had is the floor of the garage is not level. So I had to adjust the wheels and the frame of the pool table so that when it's in its playable position like it is here, that it is level. As you can see, it's a couple inches out from one end to the other. In the middle, it's at the proper playing height. Once it was all done, I was actually quite impressed with how level and straight the table is. As you can see here, the ball doesn't really want to wander. The pool balls and pool cues are stored against the wall. I'm no professional, but I do enjoy playing pool. I've played many games on this table, and it is fantastic. And that's not all. I also have ping pong table toppers that are stored against the wall in the garage, and they slide onto the top of the pool table so that you can play ping pong. Now all I need is somebody to play with. Here's the time lapse again showing the pool table being put away. I've always wanted a pool table, but I've never had a house big enough to actually get one. Now I know what some of you are probably thinking, that pool tables aren't supposed to move, they're supposed to be stationary, but I assure you, once in place, this pool table is very level. I spent a lot of effort trying to get that table level, and it is repeatable. Now I know it probably will be never as good as a real stationary pool table, but hey, it's a pool table in a garage that folds up against the wall. It's pretty damn good. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. There's more to come.